Wahai ganas pelintang kuala, sebelum ajal berpantang maut, tak akan Melayu hilang di dunia. Tak akan Melayu hilang di dunia. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to Madam Mahani and all my friends. So, the phrase tak akan Melayu hilang di dunia is often said amongst the Malays. The Malays are rich with culture and history. But today, I will be focusing on the Malay attire, which is the baju kurung. Regarding my topic today, I will be talking about the history of the baju kurung, the types of baju kurung, and the meaning behind the designs. I have gathered the information regarding this topic based on websites and based on my own previous findings and my own personal knowledge. So, to get to know someone, we need to get to know their history first, right?
Yeah.
So, to get to know the history of the baju kurung, so to get to know the baju kurung better, so let's learn the history. So, we live in the modern age of the 21st century, and we know that the male attire is called the baju Melayu, and the female attire is called the baju kurung, right?
Yes.
But back then, it was only called the baju kurung only, not baju Melayu. Let's rewind and go back to the 15th century. The baju kurung was first introduced by the third Sultanate of Malacca, Sultan Muhammad Shah. However, there were also opinions saying that the baju kurung was invented by Sultan Abu Bakar, the Sultanate of Johor. Referring to Dr. Hazia Hussein, senior researcher in Institute of Nature and Malay Civilization, back then, both male and female attire were both called the baju kurung. They were not called baju Melayu at first. Baju kurung, yes. The Deputy Dean of University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Dr. Muhammad Rosli Saduddin said, back then the baju kurung had short sleeve, almost here, or no sleeves at all, and the top is more fitted, it's not loose. And the men back then would usually wear short knee-length pants with samping, kain samping. And the women, so after Sultan Muhammad Shah passed away, one of the chiefs, Tun Hassan, changed the old design. He made the sleeves and pants longer and the top more loose. The traditional design is still used until today. The example is this one. And when Tanah Melayu became more advanced years later, the baju Melayu was called for the men's attire and the female attire is still called the baju kurung. So you have to learn the history, and now I'm going to show you the types of baju kurung. The first two are the male attire, which is the baju Melayu Teluk Belanga, and this one, the baju Melayu Cekap Musang. Okay. And for the female attire, it's also the baju kurung Teluk Belanga. It has the same design but different lengths. Back then, it was a privilege for the people to have a set of good clothes. The women back then would usually just wear kain sarung or kain batik from their chest up until their knees. So the Sultan back then would usually give a set of good clean clothes to the people who deserve them. So I have shared the history and the types of baju kurung. So now I'm going to share with you the meaning behind the design. First is the Teluk Belanga here. Although it was not clear of who first invented the design, but this baju Melayu was, however, named after the capital of Johor back then, Teluk Belanga, which is actually in Singapore. Back then, when Singapore was still a part of Johor. Both the male and, this is the Teluk Belanga. Both female and male attire are designed with embroidered neckline here. It is sewn here. And it has one button which represents that the one god that we worship here, that one button. And the men's baju Melayu Teluk Belanga has 3 pockets, 1, 2, 3, which represent faith, goodness, and Islam. The women's baju kurung Teluk Belanga, as I said before, is longer and is usually paired with a skirt or a kain sarung. And second is the Cekap Musang. This is the men's attire. It is more modern than the Teluk Belanga. It is fitted with 5 buttons, 1, 2, 3, 4, which represents the 5 pillars of Islam. The 2 buttons on top, if you see the picture on the pamphlet I gave you, the original design actually has 2 buttons on top of here. There's actually supposed to be 2 here, which represents the dua kalimah syahadah.
Wow.
And there's also opinion who said that actually there were 7 buttons instead of 5, which is only worn by the aristocrats back then. The people who wore less than 7 buttons are the common people. And the 7 buttons represent the 7 layers of earth and heaven, and heaven and hell.
Wow.
Okay, the reason of why they symbolize the level of heaven and earth is because to remind the aristocrats of the mighty Allah. The men would usually pair the baju Melayu, Teluk Belanga, and baju Melayu Cakap Musang with a pair of samping. To conclude, we have learned the history, the types of baju kurung or baju Melayu, and the meaning behind the designs. So as a Malay myself and a Malaysian, I truly believe that it is vital for us to know our history and traditions. Today, many of us forget the rich meaning behind the small details in our history, like the small details in the attire that us Malay always wear. We are more keen on seeing what new things we can do for the future. And dear classmates, being the young generation of today, I just want to remind you to not forget our roots and tradition, because that is where we came from, and it is what makes us who we are today. The history and I want to remind you to always make the history and the culture of traditional Melayu alive, so that tak akan Melayu hilang di dunia. Thank you.